This is the Louie T Network.
In the Lab Room.
Welcome, you are in the Lab Room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Here to break down one of the marquee matchups of Week 3, the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Sun Life Stadium to take on the 2-0 Miami Dolphins, one of the big stories of the 2013 season thus far. Look, a lot of people have been picking the Dolphins as a dark horse team and someone that could compete with the New England Patriots in that AFC East division. And I was a little bit skeptical of this Dolphins team. I will say that I felt like they were going to be the chief competitors to the New England Patriots in that division. But I didn't know if they were ready to take that throne away from the Patriots quite yet. But after watching the Patriots struggle with some of the moves they made in this offseason, not bringing back Welker, not bringing back Brandon Lloyd, and having all these young guys, no Gronkowski right now. We know about the Aaron Hernandez situation. Watching them struggle offensively, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this team is all that good. If we know they're not invincible. They've played a soft schedule to this point, have the Patriots, and they have barely eked by what they have played thus far. So you look at the Dolphins, conversely, and they've played some solid teams. Not great. They haven't played world beaters, but they did play some teams on the road, and they got it done in some hostile environments. And now they're going home to play the best team they've played all season in the Atlanta Falcons. This was going to be a huge test, a huge kind of measuring stick for this Miami Dolphins football team. I wanted to see how they were going to play against a team that everyone assumes is going to be in the postseason. Everyone assumes is going to be a Super Bowl contender in the Atlanta Falcons. This is a good offensive football team that can play some defense. And in this game, I thought that the Atlanta Falcons played some good football. Thought they played well enough to win. But I also felt like they went away from some things. I thought both teams went away from the run a little bit. And the Falcons were actually running the ball really well. I was surprised at how well they were gashing the Dolphins with Jason Snelling and Jaquiz Rodgers. They had success running the football. And I thought at times they got a little pass happy. There were times where they'd come out, throw it 3 times, and punt. And the way they were running the football, it was no need to not run the football at least once on every possession. And preferably on first down, see what you can get. If you get a nice gain, run it again. And sometimes the Falcons got pass happy, went away from the run a little bit. And I know their identity is that they're a passing team, but that's part of the reason why they did not make it to the Super Bowl a season ago, is because they needed to change their identity somewhat. Not change it all the way. You can't have a tiger change its stripes. But they needed to implement the run a little bit more. That's why they lost those games last season, especially the one in San Francisco, why they almost lost to Seattle, because they couldn't close out the show after getting huge leads because they couldn't run the football. And so they need to be able to run the football better. They need to run it more. They ran it effectively in this game. I thought they just needed to run it a little bit more. But looking at this game from a lens that's a little bit wider, and I want to take a big picture view here. These are 2 good football teams. These are 2 really good football teams. Now, to narrow the focus on this game itself, the Falcons did some things in this game that I think they'll be okay, because I questioned whether the Falcons were going to be a good team this year. And even though they're 1-2 right now, and it doesn't look good, and the Saints are 3-0, and 1-2 means you're struggling. They've played some tough teams. They've played the Saints on the road. Here they are in Miami on the road. They've played 2 3-0 teams and 1-2 teams. So they've had it. They've had a rough go of it. Have the Atlanta Falcons in terms of schedule wise? The combined record of the 3 teams they've played 7-2. So they've had it tough. And both of the 3-0 teams, they played them on the road. So I'll give the Atlanta Falcons a little bit of slack. I'll cut them some slack, but you still got to go out and get it done. At the end of the day, no one is going to feel sorry for you because you played on the road against a good team. You got to go and win football games. They had an opportunity to win this game. They self-destructed. They had an opportunity to kind of put this crowd to sleep, put the Dolphins to sleep. Harry Douglas fumbles the football. You have a chance to go up 6. Put some pressure on this Dolphins football team. Make them have to score a touchdown. The Dolphins had the opportunity to kick a field goal to tie it up or score a touchdown to take the lead and ultimately win the game. Matt Bryant misses a field goal. So the Falcons had opportunities in this game. They blew them. They blew the opportunities that were there in front of them. And so let's give some credit to the Miami Dolphins. They forced the issue. They hung around. They forced that turnover. They hit Harry Douglas and dislodged the football. They did that. So let's give the Dolphins some credit. They did some things in this game that I didn't see coming. I thought that Lamar Miller had a solid game, but again, they did not run the football enough. This guy bust off a huge 44-yard run or so, and they stopped giving him the football. And that's what I want to see from Lamar Miller. I want to see the explosiveness, the elusiveness, the ability to change directions. And he did that all in that play. Nice job of blocking by this offensive line. And he had a huge run, but he didn't get the football enough in this game. And they got to do a better job of protecting Ryan Tannehill. He was sacked 6 times in this game. He was harassed. He was constantly having to climb the pocket because guys were getting up the field and getting pass rush. And so they've got to do a better job of protecting Ryan Tannehill. But the Dolphins, they really showed some perseverance in this game because they were down, and there were some times where the Falcons looked like they were ready to deliver the knockout blow, and the Dolphins simply would not allow them to do that. They hung in this game, hung in until they got some breaks, until they made their own breaks. And that's the key. They made their breaks in this game. They forced the issue and gave themselves a chance in this football game. Kudos to the Dolphins for finding a way to win. This was not a clean game by the Dolphins. They had some mistakes. They did some things that you would like to see them eliminate if they're going to be successful down the road. But all in all, they did the things necessary to win. It's not always going to be pretty. You got to find a way to win in this league. And that final drive that Ryan Tannehill put together was masterful, was a thing of beauty. And that's what you have to do to separate yourself as a quarterback in this league. You got to be able to take your team down the field when they got to have it for a game-winning drive. And he was able to do that, finding Deion Sims on a beautiful one-hand grab in the end zone to take this lead at 27-23 and ultimately secure this victory with a pick to end this game. And that field goal that Matt Bryant missed loomed large because the Falcons got the football back with 38 seconds and 2 timeouts. And if they only needed a field goal to win, it's a different story. Instead, you got to go about 80 yards with 2 timeouts in 38 seconds. That's a daunting task for any team. I don't care who your quarterback is. Hard to ask Matt Ryan to pull a rabbit out of his hat at the end of the game when you can't make field goals to put yourself in a position to win the game with another field goal. And so Falcons had opportunities. They blew them. Dolphins had opportunities. They seized them. And they get the victory 27-23. Huge win for the Miami Dolphins. I felt like they needed to come up big, and they did come up big in this game. Tannehill did throw 1 interception, but once again, Falcons did not take advantage of opportunities that were there that presented themselves. Dolphins did. They are the victors here. And this is a huge win for the Dolphins. They start the season 3-0. They're keeping pace with the New England Patriots. And right now they're playing better football than the Patriots are. And so it'll be interesting to see if they can keep this up and play consistent winning football for the duration of the season. It's a great start to the season, but you need to be able to play this brand of football for 17 weeks and not just for the first quarter of the season. They've started off this season hot. They have to remain that way, and this division is up for grabs. They can win this division from the New England Patriots, but they just have to continue to play football like this, playing winning football will help this Dolphins team get to where they want to go. You look at the Atlanta Falcons, tough loss, one that you probably should have won. Once again, you had a game that you didn't take advantage of. You didn't take advantage of the Saints in that first game. You had opportunities. You did not take advantage of them. You had opportunities in this ball game. You did not take advantage of them. Hence, you are 1-2. But if you are the Atlanta Falcons, you're still a good football team. You just have to right the ship. You have to find a way to get better. And you got to get healthier. And that's another thing. You have to get healthier. You've got some guys banged up. But you had enough players and you had enough opportunities to win this game. You just didn't take them. Falcons drop to 1-2. And the Dolphins go to 3-0. The surprising Miami Dolphins. Maybe not surprising to some, but surprising to most. The Miami Dolphins are 3-0 on the season. What a start to the sophomore season of Ryan Tannehill. That's going to do it for me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.
In the Lab Room.